Chapter 34, Losing Yan Mo. In the grass, a group of 12 people, carrying each other's injured people were quickly running around. Behind them a huge leopard neck had a huge hole and in the abdomen it was deliberately cut open, and blood flowed on the ground. A group of no more than 20 hyenas surrounded the dead giant leopard and ate it. Some hyenas seemed to be reluctant to give up tracking the running prey all the way, but they raised their heads. They found that the position was getting far and they quickly rushed into the rush to grab the ready-made fresh flesh and blood. The bloody smell has attracted more hungry animals, including large birds in the sky. One bird behavior was a bit strange. When all the birds are staring at the flesh and blood below, it was flying out of the big bird's force chasing the 12 escaping people, as if there is something in that group that attracted it. The rumbling footsteps were close to the hyena group, but the greedy hyenas were reluctant to leave the free flesh and blood, until a female hyena as a leader once again issued a warning whisper. But this whisper was already late. Yan Mo, who has followed his friends, doesn't know, just in the place where they just left, a new hunting battle and killing was about to begin. Yan Mo squinted and his face was nearly caught by the leopard. He felt that his nose was probably cut halfway. The terrible giant leopard clearly had his neck penetrated with a wooden spear, and there was still room for it to chase them. This time he and Yang Wei became a pair of brothers, but his situation is much worse than Yang Wei, who had half of his face ruined. The large amount of blood flowing from his face not only attracted some beasts to follow them, but also attracted more flying insects to his face. Yan Mo felt that body was shaking. Just now, he thought he was almost a goner. Even Yuan Zhan put him on his back and he didn't react. Following Lai, all the way running without looking back, they do not know how long they ran, until they ran to a tree with a great canopy. The group stopped. Gasping, gasping. Many people were wheezing loud gasping breath. The Wen Sheng directly supported his knees with both hands. He was so tired that he cannot even straighten his waist. Xia Fei was the most pitiful. When she stopped, the person collapsed on the ground. 3 worn-out slaves were thrown themselves on the ground. Bing was not happy to run while Yang Wei, after throwing Yang Wei to the ground, and could not help but kick him. Yuan Zhan turned to the boy and turned to grab his face. "Let me see, are you hurt?" Yan Mo has gradually recovered from the intense fear. He slowly put down his bloody left hand and slowly raised his face. Yuan Zhan grabbed his chin and his eyes suddenly contracted. Then he quickly lifted his palm and spitted a few mouthfuls of saliva. Then he seemed to be casually wiping it on the face of the little slave, wiping it, and having a little bit of a big tune yelling. Fortunately, the blood flow is a little more, but the wound is not very deep, and Yang Wei was not caught. It's heavy, and it only needs a little bit of water. It will be fine in a few days. Impossible. He felt it at the time. Yan Mo quickly touched his face. He thought that the entire cracked nose had been left on his face. He thought that the half-face that had been destroyed now touched it, but only touched a few small scratches that have not yet healed. His healing ability seems to be accelerating again. Is his healing ability not only related to the nutrients he absorbs, but also related to the number of injuries he has? Will he increase his healing ability every time he increases the number of injuries? Potholes in the plans. So can he still be injured again? And so quickly healed, why does his body and brain have no reaction to it? What is the law of conservation of energy? Feeding the dog? And still being hungry after? These can be ignored for the time being. Yan Mo waved. But what is important is how he is going to hide this matter. If it is in the original world of security, he does not have to worry about being discovered by his superhuman healing ability. In this world, if he is not show injury in a certain injured attack, it is strange. His healing ability different from ordinary people, and it will definitely be discovered by others. He must first think of an excuse to explain this matter. He does not want to be burned into ash or ground into powder as a special medicine like the other messenger of God who got exed. In addition, fortunately, when the leopard had hurt his face, he subconsciously covered his face. "Is the little slave all right?" Lai came over to see Yan Mo. I thought that his face was scratched, and the last of the leopard attack was awkward. Nothing, the leopard neck had a wooden spear so it didn't have much strength when it rushed to me. I just didn't get out of the way quick enough, otherwise I wouldn't suffer this injury. Yan Mo bent over and grabbed the grass, trying to get rid of the spattered blood on his face. Meng also wants to look carefully at Yan Mo and Yuan Zhan grabbed his neck and pushed it to the tree. You are the most flexible, climb at the top of the tree for signs of danger. Screaming, throwing the backpack to his brother, the monkey Meng climbed the tree fast. At the top of the tree, he also pulled a few leaves into his mouth. Far away, a big bird hovered at high altitude. While he watched the big bird's eyes and saw that it didn't mean to come down. While waiting for it, he swept a look in the other direction. Yan Mo found that everyone was recovering their calmness faster than him after experiencing danger. Two women, including Yang Wei, seemed to have no special attention to the dangers just now. They were all relaxed expressions as normal. In particular, the warriors have already used wooden spears to beat the grass and start to look around. Observe the partner and look at the surrounding environment. The environment here was very interesting. It is surrounded by weeds at the waist level but there are also several large trees scattered. The trunks of these trees are quite thick and their crowns are very large, but some trees are less than half of other trees. Some are still flourishing. Under the big tree where they are located, the trunk was at the center, and there are not many weeds in the vicinity of the 10 meters. The circle around the tree is about 20 meters and after that the grass is dense. What other big trees can see seems to be the same. Looking further into the distance, you can see the rolling hills. These mountains are close to each other. It seems that you can run in one day, but you can't measure the distance from this far. Yan Mo wiped the blood on his face with saliva and weeds, and slowly turned a circle. Because of the wide view, he could clearly see that the prairie seemed to be surrounded by mountains, like a bowl. But watching the climate does not look like it. Why? Because of the high and low distribution of mountains? Maybe because the grassland is too big? Behind those distant mountains is there another plain continent, or? Yuan Zhan came back from the nearby grass and had a long bone in his hand. There is no suitable trees around here, only this. Thank you, this is okay. Yan Mo took the thigh bones of the animal that he didn't know. He sat on the ground and felt okay. Before he gave him the one that he had prepared for himself, he could only ask Yuan Zhan to help him get one. Have anyone ever reached the other side mountain? Yan Mo's finger pointed to the farthest and the highest mountain. Yuan Zhan looked in the direction of his finger. You said the Fuxian mountain? I have not been there. No one in the tribe can get there. But I heard that there is a lower city at the foot of the mountain. Occasionally there will be people turning over. If you go passing the Long Bay Mountain in front of the Fuxian Mountain, and then through the entire grassland and the Black Forest, you would end up here. Have you ever thought, maybe the sea is behind those mountains? Yan Mo said. Yan Mo felt that there was a madness in Yuan Zhan's eyes. If I become a 4th-rank warrior, I must climb the Fuxian Mountain or the Mushan Mountain, and then turn over them to see what is behind them. Someone said that those mountains are the end of the mainland, but the people in the lower town have left the rumors that the end of the mainland is not behind those mountains. Yan Mo looked at the Mushan Mountain that Yuan Zhan referred to, which is just opposite the other mountain, the Mushan Mountain and the Fuxian Mountain. One is tall and one is low, you can't see it for the time being, because their main peaks have poked into the sky. Coincidentally, the Fuxian Mountain is in the north and the Mushan Mountain is in the south. There is a Long Bay Mountain in front of the Fuxian Mountain, and there is also a Longtube Mountain in front of the Mushan Mountain. Although the Hassa Mountain is also in the south, it is much closer to them than the Mushan Mountain. Seeing the mountains, he can't choose to stay in such a far place, he can only choose nearby. Yan Mo doesn't know how the geomancy of the land they are temporary or if it is good. When Yan Mo was busy studying the surrounding environment, Cao Ting walked under the big tree with a wooden stick and reaches for a few leaves and gave them to her master Diao. The ones that were given were immediately chewed into the mouth. Cao Ting took another leaf and handed it to Yan Mo, who thought about it. You can eat it, you can drink it as water. Yan Mo took it, and he looked at it with doubt. He didn't know the plant, but it looked like a random-looking leaf. Have you ever eaten leaves? At this time, other people who are free have also gone to the big trees to pick the leaves, not only picking them up, picking one piece and eating one. Cao Ting saw Yan Mo's hesitation, she smiled, and looked sad and nostalgic at the same time on her face. This is a gift from the god of the earth to my tribe. We call it the water god tree. It never wilts, it never blooms. But its leaves can give you a lot of water as long as you chew them, and its leaves won't fall all year round. Your tribe? Well, my original birth tribe, the Chun/Grass tribe. Just. It's not anymore. Cao Ting dropped her eyes and raised them again. My tribe lived in this area. It turns out that there are many water god trees on our ethnic land, but the greedy tribes around have not had enough even after destroying my tribe. They also uprooted the god water trees dug out and they wanted to bring them to their own tribe. But no tribe can make the water god tree grow on their tribal land. Yuan Zhan was sitting on the ground and grinding the spear with a stone, answered, Our tribe I also got a few back and they died. Why don't you just occupy this land here? Yan Mo asked after feeling strange. Because there are a lot of tribes who want this site, but where the water and grass are richer that aren't fought over. If they can't be quickly overtaken they will be harassed by countless beasts and sneak attacks by other tribes. Lai came over explained it to Yan Mo, when we are staying near this tree, at the distance of 3 flying spears and we will be caught between the Stinger's tribal lands. Let's take a break here, wait a minute. I'm going to find the flock of sheep no matter what we can or can't find. Before the sun sets, everyone must come back here. We're so close to the Stinger's people, won't we be attacked? Yan Mo didn't ask everyone, so he had to ask himself. Before Lai answer, Bing first piped in, haven't you ever heard of these savages? They don't understand what is called defensive or attacking. They don't have warriors like our tribe. Just don't run to their homes and if don't grab their food, they won't pay any attention about you. Yan Mo ignored Bing's provocation, took a handful of water god leaves, and went to the west with Yuan Zhan. After walking out about 200 meters, watching the nearby grasses are dense, Yuan Zhan put Yan Mo down, and surely said, You should be able to walk. Yan Mo did not deny, Yes. When walking use the bones in your hands to hit the grass like me. Yuan Zhan taught the boy how to walk through the grass. There are not many beasts because of the relationship between the Chun/Grass tribe and the Stinger's tribe who have come to settle near here later. So you just be careful, you don't have to worry about the beast that would suddenly jump out. No wonder Lai dared to let us spread. The small group of sheeps like to eat the leaves from the water god tree, so they have been squatting around nearby. The Stinger tribe and you have been hunting here for many years, why haven't you killed them? Yuan Zhan turned back and squinted at him, clearly squinting killing? You stupid, killing, what are we going to eat in the coming year? Even the savage of the savage knows that they can't kill the sheeps. I know this, I thought. You don't understand the reason. The reason? It is just the reason, hey. Later if you hear me say something strange, don't ask me, if you want me to explain to you I will explain it to you. And some. I understand, you say it is a unique spell handed down by the priests. Yuan Zhan automatically found a reason for him. Yan Mo nodded deeply. Yes. Hey, Yuan Zhan smacked his calf with a wooden spear. Yan Mo dismissed the grim face and said, I say, as the future priest, can you lighten your footsteps? Be careful in your steps. Your Majesty. Yuan Zhan wanted to push down the boy, but the big bird that flew down is much faster than him. Before his hand has touched Yan Mo's shoulder, a big bird grabbed the slave's shoulder and directly flew in the air. Yuan Zhan threw out the wooden spear again, but the big bird who caught a person on its paw, still able to evade the attack in the sky, and with a fluff of the wings, the bird escaped the flying wooden spear. Yuan Zhan desperately and painfully screamed in anger and chased the big bird running forward. Yan Mo, who was tightly held by the big bird, had no words and hid tears flew in the wind. Why am I always the one who's hurt? Who have I offended? Yes, I almost forgot, I offended God. But you still want me to make a good reform? Or do you want me to learn how to cut my meat and feed the eagle to reduce the scum? If this is the case, as long as the points are appropriate, it is not impossible to negotiate. Can you exchange 1 or 2 of my meat for 1,000 scum reduction? If not, when I cut the whole body, I will die. Can you assure me to resurrect me after that? Yan Mo cried, and he sneered then laughed at the big bird who couldn't help but to look down at him strangely. Ah! Why is the prey I caught this time so strange? The big bird flew higher, and Yan Mo's voice was lost in the wind and his screams were almost drowned by the cold wind, and the flesh of his face was instantly deformed. The violent cold wind was cutting him like a knife, and Yan Mo couldn't scream because he wanted to keep his breath.